Welcome to this week's podcast. We are here with Kristin Hortzman. Did I say that right? Right.
Kristin Hortzman.
Say it again.
Kristin Hortzman. Yeah.
Kristin Hortzman with Brighten Your Life
Coaching.
What is it? Coaching. So, as has been the case with so many of our podcasts, right, that I've done recently, it's because of a show or a symposium or something that I went to in Ohio, right, for the amino acids, and it just seemed like there was it was like a who's who of really fun, smart, innovative people. I almost felt like,
totally.
What am I doing here, right? Because I was like, dang, and I've received so much benefit. I mean, we got our amino acids from Shelly Joe.
Yes, I purchased some from her as well. After.
Yeah.
I purchased some from her too.
The multivitamins from the folks over at Hardee's, the omega-3s from Zenzino with Mike Lewis, and we've just done a couple others. And here you are, right? And I know that you and I spoke there in Ohio to the length that I said, whatever you're saying to me, which I don't remember right now, right? Just so you know, but whatever you were saying to me caused me to say, you should come on my podcast, right?
Yeah.
This is something we deserve to talk about, to get it out.
Yeah.
So now you're going to share that information with me, and it's going to almost be like I'm hearing it for the first time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so, and this thing that you're about to describe, where did it come from? You?
So, no. So I am what's called a gray area drinking coach, and I coach individuals who...
Say that again slowly.
I am a gray area drinking coach.
Gray area drinking coach.
Yes.
Now, before she says this, what that means, I know what I think it means, and tell me if I'm off or if I'm on. It's the drinking that is not noticeably destructive, but it's very destructive. It's like the gray area. Is that right?
It's a wide spectrum of drinking, and it's between two kind of smaller categories of drinking. So one category is what's called a now and again drinker, and that's just somebody who they just don't drink that often. It's a handful of times a year. It's like
social events.
But it's still like, it's not important enough to really even be on their radar. Like, they literally show up to a wedding, they toast the groom and bride, and that's it. They're not drinking to get drunk. And then they could go a month or a couple of months without even thinking about it. It's just like they drink so rare that it's not really affecting their life. The actual definition, though, is you have to be drinking less than 2 drinks per week, 2 or less drinks per week. But to me, that is still like a lot. So, and then the other extreme, though, is something called the end stage drinking, where if you have organ failure, cirrhosis, if you need in or outpatient medical intervention.
End stage drinking?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I have an older brother at the age of 21 that died of cirrhosis of the liver because of his
I'm so sorry.
drinking. Yeah. He literally drank himself. Well, as did my father. He just lasted a lot longer than my older brother. Well, actually, I take that back. I have 2 older brothers that died of severe drinking, they followed in the footsteps of their father, which is where I was going. But I think when I decided to hang up my spurs, my drinking spurs, I was in this gray area that you're talking about, because I was in the middle of those two, leaning more towards the end, right?
Yeah, okay. I get that. Right? That makes sense. Yeah. So, and this, by the way, it's not a social media hashtag. It's not something like I made up. It came out of a 2010 dietetics study. So they were doing a review, the guidelines for calories and for optimal health and disease prevention. This is the Dietetics Association. And they, on purpose, they made sure they tracked people's calories for an entire year. And they made sure to include alcohol calories because, I mean, they should count. It's a physical substance going to a physical body. It has physical effects, and it has calories, and it breaks down into glucose. So they were very smart to really actually pay attention to that. And once they had all this data at the end of that year, they realized that drinking is very much a spectrum, that it's no longer this idea that, oh, these are the problem drinkers and these are the, normies, so to speak. Most people drink in the gray area. It's probably about 90% of where drinking is. And all labels, by the way, pretty much all labels, these self-described labels like social drinking, moderate drinking, alcohol use disorder, alcoholic, any of that, it all falls under the gray area.
Okay.
So it's problematic, but it's not. But a lot of people kind of get away with living in that area, and you can go up and down the spectrum. And really, you can say like pretty much all drinking is gray area because there's no safe amount. And so many, medical bodies have come out to say there is literally no safe amount. So if you're drinking something that is unsafe, that is a, category 1 carcinogen, that, is tied to 7 different kinds of cancers, et cetera,
Well,
you're on the spectrum.
I have had conversations and looked at some studies that suggest that the reason that our brains and our bodies react the way it does to the alcohol, even though we think that it's pleasurable, it's actually poisoning us. It literally it's a substance that your body wants to reject, right? It is a poison, right?
100%.
We think that because I drink a shot or two, within minutes, I'm feeling, right? I mean, that's
right.
like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
I can do this. I can drive now, even though I really can't, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm functioning, which, by the way, which is what I used to do. I used to drink with regularity and then really turn the ratchet up most every evening. And not really realizing how destructive and foolish I was acting and how destructive it was.
Right.
But it is a poison to us, to our bodies.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, the second it hits your bloodstream, your body has to take it out of your bloodstream so you don't die. And this is a liquid we're drinking for fun. I mean, it's kind of mind-boggling.
And your liver
now that I'm on the other side.
and your liver is saying, "What are you doing to me?
Oh,
what are you doing to me? I mean, my job is hard enough as it is with all this fast food that you're eating and all this other junk, right?
Right.
It's like,
gosh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're suggesting, and I'm going to be inclined to agree with you, that most of the drinkers that are out there, right, are in that gray area.
Oh, yeah. Millions.
But here's the thing, though. I'm also going to suggest to you that there's a lot of people that are in the end stage drinking. A lot. Because for me, the end stage you're talking about isn't so much the liver. I mean, because that's like the end. But I'm going to suggest to you that the end is this person that wakes up drinking, that drinks throughout the day. I mean, goodness gracious. At my dad's funeral, one of his brothers, my uncle, was carrying this big glass mug with what I thought was ice water, right? But I think it was vodka. He wouldn't even go into the church. Now, did he have liver failure? No, I don't think. So, I mean, I think within that gray area, there's some areas of.
But was he capable of stopping? Was he capable of stopping? If you're not
Obviously
capable
not.
of stopping, you're in that. Yeah, you're definitely. I call it. You can call it end stage. I kind of call it the danger zone. when you can't stop.
There has to be, okay, gray area, right? And there, you know what? I just thought of something for you, right? There should be 50 shades of gray in the drinking.
Right?
Right.
Right.
There could be a number that's associated with this. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because you could be over here, the social drinker.
You can go
Okay.
up and
But you
down the
could be over
spectrum.
here where you're in a hospital bed, right? Like I have an uncle that they snuck beer into his hospital room because he was such a severe alcoholic and he was having such a hard time, right? That's like the end. And he eventually died, like my dad and my older brothers. Okay. But over here, close to that edge, like, so, right over here, I'm getting up every day, drinking, taking a little nip during the day, right? And then drinking more in the evening and then get up in the next day and go to work, right? And nobody knows. That could be, if the social drinker is, we'll call him a 1 or a 2 or her, these guys are at 50.
Right.
To me, I was at a, let's go 30, 35, 30, 35, 40-ish mark. I'm going to say to you that there's a shit ton of people in that right there. And that's the danger zone because you are the dumbasses that are driving and killing people. All the other guys are too, but because you guys think you can do these things. These guys over here know that they got a problem and they're not going to drink, the 45ers, but it's the 25 to 35 40s that think nobody knows I'm drinking and I can function and right?
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the times, a lot of the gray area, a gray area drinker can look like their drinking is not problematic to the outside, but the gray area drinker knows internally, like they're hearing that voice, like, oh, this is problematic. They silently worry about their drinking, but they're not ready to quite make the change. But they do. Gray area drinkers do take breaks from alcohol, and they are capable of doing it. Without medical intervention. So they might, let's say sign up for a cleanse, like, I want to, lose some weight. So I'm going to do like a Whole30 diet. They just want to clean up their diet, lose a few pounds for a month. Maybe they start training for a marathon and they just like clean up everything. Yeah. So they're cleaning up their food, they're taking the alcohol out. But then as soon as the marathon is done, they go back to drinking. So a gray area drinker always goes back to it. It's like they can take those breaks of their own volition, so nobody's forcing them to do it. But and you can totally move up and down the spectrum. I definitely was everywhere on the spectrum throughout the 20 years that I drink. Let's
talk about that for a sec.
Yeah, sure.
So because now it's coming back to me, right? Your description of you and your husband, right? Kind of like, go over that with me briefly. Right. I mean, because the life of the party, everybody walks, you come to your home, you go to their home. There's there's the bottles. The scene over there in the kitchen someplace or by the bar, wherever it is, there's going to be, 5 or 6 bottles of various types of booze. There's going to be some margarita mix there. Oh, there's a thing there. If you want to make your margarita, right, you can, dip your thing in that syrupy stuff and then dip it in this, that. I mean, you can make whatever you want. Bloody Mary mix? Yeah, there it is right there. Oh, and if you're not a liquor drinker, there's some beer over in the cooler. Don't drink it if the mountains aren't blue or however that goes. I mean, does that sound about right?
Yeah, I mean, so what's great about my husband, though, is that he was never really a big drinker. He only really drank in his adult life for a handful of years. And those were the years that when my drinking escalated. And then, so he wasn't drinking in the gray area for maybe 2 years tops. And then
sounds like he was a 10 or below as well, as far as the 50 Shades of Gray, right?
Oh yeah. He never really got extreme. And he went most of his adult life actually without drinking. So it was just like this one little blip of time in his life where he did start to drink more. And then my drinking escalated with him. And then a lot of like things in our life was happening that was creating a lot of overwhelm for me. And my drinking really, really skyrocketed during that time. And when he saw what it was doing to me, he was like, oh my God, I don't want to drink this stuff anymore. It's literally killing my wife. So he was able to walk away and just drop it like a bad habit. He never had to deal with the severe cravings that I had to deal with because I was putting in my body for 20 straight years. And so I did develop the cravings.
Did he ever come to you and say, honey, I mean, Would you
Oh yeah.
consider he did? So I'm
Oh yeah.
imagining it probably caused problems in your marriage.
Oh,
Makes sense.
100%.
Yeah, yeah,
100%. Yeah.
yeah.
Even, even the years when it wasn't as problematic, even if like there were years like in my 20s where I was mostly just binging on the weekends, but during
Right.
the
How long
week
you
it
been
wasn't
married?
really. We just celebrated 19 years.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, and we've
So
been
what I'm
together 27 and a half.
okay. So what I'm getting from you is what's your husband's first name?
Evan.
Evan. So Evan's got this little halo.
he has, he's like a straight arrow. It's so funny.
I
Mine's
mean,
like this
because you
2 years
know,
he
look,
drank.
if you've ever been around somebody that you're describing that their drinking is getting out of hand, right? Honey, I love you, but I'm really sick of your shit. I mean, really. So I say
Yeah,
halo
he's a saint. He's a saint.
because he put up with your shit for a long time. I mean, agreed? I mean, I'm sure he's got his stuff, but the drinking is a whole different animal. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
Evan, when you watch his podcast, right? Yeah, I mean, he's gonna. Good for you, brother, right? But you know what? Here he is with you on the other side of all that, right?
Yeah, we've been through a lot. We've been through a
Yeah,
lot, and what's beautiful is like we've always been a team, and
yeah.
except for those kind of tough years where we both were going through kind of some weird family things, and then we weren't acting like a team, and then it stirred up a lot of issues in me, and I thought like I was losing him, and I didn't think I was as important to him anymore,
And he was
and
probably
when
thinking
that,
the same thing about you,
oh yeah, oh yeah,
right? Because the
and
drinking's more
that
important to you than
it
I
hurt
am, he
us.
might say.
Oh God, oh I'm sure he thought that,
Why
yeah.
are you? I'm sure I'm
But
surprised he didn't say. Why are you picking? Because I've heard here at the patients at Beacon Recovery, when we talk to their family members, they always say
yeah,
or regularly say, this person is picking the drugs or the alcohol over me,
yeah.
right?
I
And I
know it's
respond by
terrible.
saying to them, no, that's not true. They're not picking the drugs or the alcohol. When they're doing those drugs or drinking that alcohol, which by the way is another drug, there's a lot of
Right,
endorphins there's I think that are released in the brain that these people associate with their very survival, right?
right,
So
right.
it's not this substance that they're picking. It's in their world, their very survival. So the alcohol
Yeah,
or the drugs aren't the problem. The problem is that those things are the answer. That's the problem, right?
right,
And so
right.
the goal is for you as well, in reference to your coaching, is to substitute the alcohol or the drugs with something else,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Something that's productive, then it's not killing you. Is that
Right,
what you,
right,
I mean, I'm not trying to tell you how to be a coach, but I mean,
right, right, right.
you're a gray
Well,
area
right,
coach, but does that sound about right to
right.
you?
Right. So I coach individuals who do drink in that gray area, but I help them by using nervous system regulation and physiology. I help them to heal those cravings, and I help them to build new neural pathways in their brain.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a science person. So when I found this work, because I was a client of this work, and this work changed my life.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I need to do this for the rest of my life, and I love it. It's been the best journey of my the whole
I
life.
mean, simplistically put, what you're saying is replace nasty habits with pure good habits. I mean,
Right,
and that's
right.
really simple, but we make it so difficult, right? Don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not as straightforward. Otherwise, we wouldn't need recovery centers, we wouldn't need
Yeah.
coaches, we wouldn't need
Yeah.
addiction therapists, and all that if it was that easy. But unfortunately,
It's not
these
easy.
substances out there, yeah, they literally change your brain. So you need
Yeah.
help to like unloop, unhook the brain from the substance, and then to create new neural pathways that are good for the nervous system and that soothe the animal brain, because we've got
Yeah.
this gut brain connection, and we've got the cravings really are coming from mostly the animal brain, which is the brain that lives behind like our brainstem here, and then we've got our prefrontal cortex, which is our logical brain. And I'm sure you've heard of bottom up and top down. We've got, this bottom up connection, that gut brain connection. 80% of that communication is bottom up, meaning body up. and only 20% is coming from like the cognitive prefrontal cortex down.
Yeah.
So we want to use approaches that are for the body. So physiology comes in, and somatic practices. Soma means body. So things that directly address the body will capture that 80%. It just, the animal brain just wants to soothe. It just wants to feel better. And the animal brain does not understand language. It's too old in our evolution. So you cannot have a logical conversation with the animal brain when you're in animal brain mode.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm listening, and I'm going back to a podcast that I did recently with Joe Hemlin. Now, Joe was a guy that I met through Mike Lewis, right? Who recently was interviewed by RFK for a job.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And accepted the job. And Joe, I can say this because he said this in his podcast. He was actually sitting in a room with RFK and a bunch of other really smart people. And the discussion came up, and RFK, the guy is just amazing, the things that he is doing, right? I love it.
Yeah.
So they're talking about nutrition. And where I'm going with this is because what happened is Joe said, okay, well, and I've asked this question. Okay. So when I say nutrition to you, and I've done this so many times since then, what does it make you? What is it? What do you immediately go to? And they're like, well, nutrition for your gut, which is good, but no. And this is what Joe said to RFK and everybody in the room. What about nutrition from the neck up? Right? What are we doing for nutrition for the brain?
Yeah, feed the brain, baby.
And that's why the omega-3s are so vital, and the amino acids, because the omega-3s they found are lacking in our diets, which are directly responsible. I think that's why RFK wanted to hire and did hire Joe, is because Joe wrote a study that talks about these discrepancies between omega-3s and omega-6s, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when we feed the brain, we can then make different choices and have different outcomes, because I'm going to suggest to you right now that you and your husband are probably getting along a lot better since you quit drinking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just taking a stab in the dark.
I mean, I've been the happiest version of me for, almost 5 years now. It'll be 5 years in January. I'm just rounding up. But yeah, I mean, hands down, every relationship, everything in my life has gotten better since I've not just taken alcohol out, since I also healed my brain, got rid of those cravings, created new neural pathways. Because, the problem is, like, before I found this work, when I was trying to stop drinking, I was trying everything and nothing was working. I mean, I did get to a place where I could finally, white knuckle my way through some days, some weeks, and even a handful of months that last year before I finally stopped. But I realized, actually, by taking those breaks and then going back to it, like, the cravings just came on so strong immediately the second I put the alcohol back in. And that's what actually gave me the aha moment. I was like, oh, okay, time is not the answer. Time alone is not the answer. And living with cravings is the most miserable experience I could possibly imagine. It was the most miserable time of my whole life. And once you heal that, then you can actually be free of it. You don't have to, like, white knuckle and waste so much energy just feeling that misery. And it's so, bad for your body and brain and nervous system to have to white knuckle and deal with those cravings all day long.
I think about different types of joy and what we perceive as joy. So I'll give you an example. You and Evan, right? You're getting ready to go to a party, right? This is in the heyday. Now, there's a level inside of you that's like, this feels good. Then, you ring the doorbell, right? Because you got your party favors, right? And somebody opens the door and, oh my gosh, these are real good friends of yours, and all your friends are back over in that room. That feeling of walking into that party and you're about to, okay, there's some joy that you think is there. Now, let's take that and set it over on the shelf. Let's go over to the joy you're experiencing right now, this wholesome, full-bodied, goosebumpy. There's no comparison between those two, because one is not joy. It's hollow. It's fake. There's nothing substantive there. what you're experiencing right now, what you have right now, is lasting. And it's in my opinion, it coincides with Jesus and God. This is what I believe. God does not want me stuck in my addiction. Satan does.
Right.
Right. And once again, I believe that there is a God. I believe that his son, Jesus Christ, came. And I believe those gods, if you will, are responsible for ultimate joy in my life. Satan, on the other hand, wants me stuck in that bottle or putting a needle. You know what I mean? Because the joy you're experiencing right now is true joy. Agreed?
Oh yeah.
Versus that fake
100%.
shit. Yeah. It's not the same, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, my level of joy is so, like it just feels infinite, and
Yeah, I can't see
it's
it.
just amazing.
Yeah, it's hard to see right now. I'm I'm trying to be. Yeah, that was an attempt at humor. Um, so what do you do then? I have a problem drinking. Let's say
Hmm.
I know that I've got a problem drinking. I can't figure it out, and I really don't want to go to Beacon Recovery. I don't have time to go to because I've got a job, and maybe I'll go to a detox someplace because my drinking is a severe problem, and they'll monitor my drinking. They'll give me something to assist me with my drinking issues, but I'm not doing anything to solve the problem. Wait a minute, maybe we can introduce this where you coach them, I think, on their time. I mean, and they don't necessarily need to be in that grotesque environment that I see behind you. Once again, that's an attempt at humor. That's her backyard, by the way, right now. That's not you ever seen those when people are on a podcast and there's a fake background? This is not a fake background. That's legit. And if you don't believe me, every once in a while, you're going to see a bird flying by, right? Oh my gosh. That's legit. Her backyard. So somebody can come, they don't need to be in your presence. They can do it virtually like this. Is that correct?
Right, right. I've had in-person clients and virtual clients. Majority virtual. I've talked to people all over the country.
So walk me through that. What happens?
So yeah, so they can book a discovery call, and we have just like a 20 to 30-minute conversation. I have to make sure they're in my scope of practice. So my scope of practice is the gray area drinker, and that is the person who is capable of taking those breaks on their own, and that they're ready to heal those cravings and learn how to regulate their nervous system. And then once we both decide we're a good fit for each other, because it is a two-way street, I have to make sure they're a good fit for me, and
Well,
I
they're
want them to make
assessing you
sure
while
I'm a
you're
good
assessing
fit.
them. I mean, it's a dual assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I want them,
Yeah.
I want them to feel comfortable with me because,
Yeah.
we're going to be working together. Their nervous system has to feel regulated when they're, interacting with me. That's very important. So, it's important for both of us. So, and, and then we start, we coach once a week. So once a week we'll have a Zoom call, and then
How long does that last?
Usually an hour. The first call is 90 minutes because I like to do a really
Your assessment.
thorough assessment. Yeah, really deep dive. Always 90 minutes for the first one, and then the other ones are an hour. And so it's great because we get to talk about like what's going on now, like what challenges are coming up, what are you dealing with, and then I teach them about the nervous system, and I give them resources that help their nervous system. And it's my job to figure out, we want this to be customized. So I want to help figure out, what, as I'm getting to know them, what do they like? And then I'll introduce certain tools to them, and then they get to try it. And then every single day they have to do an email check-in with me, and they have to, so it's not like therapy where you just talk to a therapist and you go away for a week. It's like, okay, have a good week, practice your tools. It's like, no, we're going to communicate every single day. And that communication every day, it's for their benefit, really, because they get into the habit of using their tools every day.
Hold on. Because here at Beacon, we do something similar. We call it a check-in.
Okay.
Right? Now, with what you're talking about, are they discussing their level of craving that they're experiencing for that day? which is what we do
Yeah,
verbally.
that's
You're talking
part of
about
it.
doing this email, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So they'll tell me, if they experience cravings, so they
At
have
what
to
level
notice.
that
They have,
is?
not, yeah, they can tell me, yeah, if they were really severe or if they were minor. Like, yeah, that's all good data. It's just data. It's just like a nice record keeping
Just to
for
check in.
both of us, so I can
Yeah.
help them. Yeah. And then they have to start applying their tools that I've given them to that craving. And then they have to notice, like, okay, did that tool, did it help the craving? And, or not. And every day, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's really, I call it a curiosity experiment. They have to learn what's going to start resonating with their nervous system. Like for me, I started chasing sunsets that when I was a client, and I became like utterly obsessed. And to this day, I still love sunsets. To me, chasing a sunset is very regulating for my nervous system. Not everybody, like I literally get high watching a sunset. Like believe it or not everybody's going to feel that way, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
And for some people, it could be like grabbing some art supplies and painting. Like that's not
Going
necessarily
on a
my favorite
hike,
thing in the world to do, but going on
listening
a
to good
hike,
music,
yeah,
going for a country drive.
music,
It could be
yeah,
whatever it is, and your job is to reach
yeah,
in there and find out what theirs is.
yeah,
I liken this to, it's a tool. You have a lot of tools in which you can figure out what's good for them. If I needed to
yeah,
change some nuts and bolts and I did not know what a crescent wrench was, and you handed it to me to make my job easier, and I've never seen a crescent wrench, right? I need you to show me how to use it. Oh, look,
right,
Tony, you
right,
turn this little thing and the thing goes back open and close for different sizes. Then I think you're going to watch me. We're going to practice me using that crescent wrench until I get proficient, right?
right,
Right.
exactly. So you've
Okay.
created a neural pathway in your brain
Yeah.
where you've learned how to use it. And then
Yeah.
what I tell everybody, I'm like, you're not going to work with me forever. I don't want you to work with me forever. We only need to work together for a matter of months. For certain people, it could be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or 4 months.
Yeah.
And because after several months in a row of taking the alcohol out and then putting the tools in and creating that new neural pathway, then they can, go about their lives and practice those tools, and it's become
Yeah.
second nature to them.
I like to use word pictures. What you just said was, okay, Tony, we're going to put some training wheels on that bicycle for you. Okay. And you're
Right,
going to ride with those. And then one day, like with me when I was a little kid, my mom decided, we're going to take one of those training wheels off. And then
right,
a period of time, we're taking both of them off. And now you're on. And I may still watch you. You may still watch them after the training wheels are off. But it's going to be different for different people, depending on,
right.
because people always ask me, how long is treatment? I don't freaking know how long treatment's going to be. That depends on you.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah,
And you can
right,
say the same thing. You don't know how long it's going to take. You just said it. It could be 1 month. It
yeah,
could be 4 months. Right.
right. Totally,
Um,
totally. I've had a lot of
now,
people like just sign up for a certain amount and then they add on, and I'm like, great, let's keep going. And then sometimes, like for me, and this is something I offer because this is something I experienced and I thought it worked really well. I did 90 days straight of like the daily check-ins and the once a week Zoom calls with my coach. But then after the 90 days, I didn't feel like I was completely ready to just, be on my own, but I didn't need the day to day. I had kind of graduated from that. So then she offered this opportunity where I could just check in once a week. And then we only needed a Zoom call once a month. And that went on for a few months. And then I think by month 6, then I was checking in once a month and then Zooming with her every other month. And then, by the end of the year, by the fall, like I started in January, and then pretty much by the fall, I was ready to be on my own. And that was a perfect way for me to just kind of slowly take the training wheels off and
yeah.
feel confident.
Well, you
Yeah.
decided.
Yeah. Right.
Right. And she just let you do whatever it is you that's the beautiful part about this, I think, is,
Yeah.
yes, this is a collaborative effort,
Right.
right? But you're a grown ass woman. I mean, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
when you start to get, clearer, then you can start making some rational, and it's not about the money. It's about your
Right.
safety. It's about your life. It's about the
yeah.
fact, really. And so what is the, and I'm not going to, do we discuss what this cost is, or should somebody, if they're wanting to do this, find that what that is when they call you, when they
Yeah.
talk to you,
I have my prices on my website, but
which
1
is
month is Oh,
What's your,
KristinHorseman.com.
say that. What I want you to do now is slowly spell that out.
KristinHorstman.com. So it's
Now
just my
say it,
name.com.
KristinHorseman.com.
Yep.
Okay. And
Yeah. And
on
you
your
can find
website,
all of my coaching. Yeah. You can find my coaching offerings on there. Yep.
your coaching offerings, and I'm sure you have a lot of other things. And obviously, there's a way for them to email you and or call you to
Yeah.
set something up.
Yep. Yep.
And then, like I say,
Yeah.
it's really going to be different for everybody
Yeah.
because just like there's no two snowflakes are the same, we're all different.
Right. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think the biggest takeaway from this is it can be different. It doesn't have to be this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my
There is
gosh.
there is another way,
Yeah.
right? And this
Exactly.
way that you're suggesting is so much better. It's almost like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Was it Staples? They got this commercial where they got this little red button that says "easy" on it.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what have you seen the
Yeah, I
commercial?
know that. Yeah,
And you
yeah,
hit the
yeah,
button, and
totally.
it's the easy button. That's what this is. But we make it difficult because we get stuck in our head. And I tell people, get out of your head. You have no business being in there. Get out of there, right? And go from your
Yeah.
heart, because that's where you are.
Yeah.
You're in your heart space, not your head space. Do you agree?
Right. Yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah.
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 Have we missed anything with reference to what the
Yeah.
coaching is and what it looks like? I think we pretty much hit it.
Yeah.
You guys do you ever do anything where all your graduates get together and you guys do something kind of fun?
I've thought about that.
Yeah.
I really
You should
have.
do that.
I know, right? I would love that. I do. I want to
Yeah.
get into some group coaching, and I think it would be fun to have like group coaching, like special for alumni
Yeah.
who have coached with me. One thing too, I do recommend. So I'm also a facilitator for a great alcohol-free community called Zero Proof Experiences, and they have a group called ZPE Connect. And they meet twice a week in the mornings. It's 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, so 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And I get to facilitate. So the whole point of that group, it's not a recovery group per se. It is more of we're alcohol free now what? So it's very like future focused. It's a lot of focus on growth, learning from each other, and building community. And that's really special because I get to lead sessions and I get to pick my topics. And I always weave in some neuroscience. So like I taught them like the neuroscience behind play and how play and how it's good for our dopamine and our reward circuits. And then we had a whole discussion about, how are we playing, in our alcohol free lives. I also did one on, because I have this phrase that I trademarked, sunsets are the new happy hour. So I went into, because I literally
love that.
like,
Yeah, that is good.
right? Isn't it
Yeah.
awesome?
Yeah.
Because I became so obsessed with sunsets, like I said
Sure.
that first year. And then I realized, I'm like, wait a minute. It's like sunset, it happens during happy hour time, right? Like kind of 4 to 7, right? Depending on what time of year it is. And it's like, we're all drinking from 4 to, like a lot of people are drinking from 4 to 7. And I'm not doing that anymore. I took the alcohol out. Now I'm chasing a sunset, and that's my quote unquote happy hour. And there's actual science behind it too, because we have this, circadian biology. Our nervous system really wants to downshift at that time of day when the sun is going down.
Yeah.
And it's ready for the night chapter, and it's craving nourishment. And, and we're, unfortunately, lots of people are drinking, going to happy hour or drinking with dinner. And, that's not good for the nervous system. So if we can reframe it, it's like, okay. So I led the whole session on that, where I went into the science behind, the sun and the benefits of it and why our nervous system is looking for nourishment during that time. And then we had a whole discussion. Okay, we're all alcohol free now. What are we doing, during happy hour? What's our new happy hour? Is it
and that's
going for
actually,
a walk? Is it
that's very
reading
difficult.
a book?
What you're saying right now is if you're used to doing these things, your brain is almost programmed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to have something to replace that, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed? I mean, we must.
Right.
Because
right.
we are literally programmed, right?
Right. We have that neural pathway in our brain that is leading us to want to drink, every day at 5 or whatever, whatever the person's dealing with.
I
or
love it.
drinking at dinner. Yeah. So it's like, okay, how can we reframe that? So it was great. We all had a discussion about what we're all doing to nourish ourselves kind of during that happy hour window of time. And so those are the kind of, discussions we have. And so I love that group. And I love community. I think everybody needs to find a community. I think it's an important ingredient in this whole journey to becoming substance free. It's very important. And
Yeah.
there's so many communities out there. Obviously, there's AA, and that's one type of community. But now there's the Zero Proof group. There's the Luckiest Club. There's so many neat,
There's Beacon
other
Recovery.
Beacon Recovery, right? Yeah. So it's very important. So when people
Yeah.
coach with me, I highly encourage, if they're not already attending, involved in a community, I highly
Something.
encourage them to go that way, because
Yeah.
it's really, for me, it's a comprehensive approach. And, I had the trifecta myself, because when I hired the coach, I was also working with a therapist. So I was helping that 20% top down piece and kind of working through some trauma and all that. And then I also had community. So those three things together, I mean, that was like the powerhouse to me of really recovering, healing the cravings, and just, moving on with your life. And just, it's great. It's like, I truly have freedom. I talk about being alcohol free, and I truly have freedom. I don't have the shackles on me anymore that alcohol had created. And I can just, walk by somebody drinking now, and it used to be so tempting. And I used to have like that severe jealousy and the cravings come up. But now I'm kind of like, I'm walking by and I'm like, why is he drinking? Like, I don't even get it. Now I'm like, I'm so the opposite. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't. Yeah.
Because
so
now
that
you
to
can
me,
go to
like,
you can go to that same party that I described earlier.
right.
And if you want to drink, there could be, you know what, you don't have the desire. You might have the same friends, right?
Right.
Going hang out with the same people, but everybody knows she's not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a great place to be. That's a great space to be in.
So wonderful.
It's actually freeing.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's nothing better than that kind of freedom. And
well, you're authentic. You are standing in your authentic self.
Totally. Yes. Yes. Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
It was meant as such. I mean, because it's the truth, right? It is the truth. So yeah, it's all coming back to me now. What we talked about in Ohio back then. I'm grateful for this, this opportunity, and just for the record, the best way to reach you is through your website. Say it one more time, slowly, right?
KristinHorstman.com. And I have
it's KRI.
KristinHorstman.com.
And if I was like up on stuff, I could probably be typing this on a screen someplace, but I don't know how to do all that. So, right.
Yeah. If you Google me, it'll come right up. And I have great resources on my website that are totally free. Before you even get into coaching, if you want to, I have over 40 blogs at the moment, and I have more coming out. I have I have an events page. So I try to share people's events who, all over the country, all over the world. Yeah. And then I share about, one of my very special projects that I rolled out this past year is called a resource page. And it's a resource page for family members, the loved ones, the Evans of the world. Because one thing, that I learned along my journey is, how impactful the family piece is. And, what he went through, like, he really could have used a lot more support when he was watching me suffer, and, he just didn't know what to do. So I've gotten heavily involved with an organization called CMC Foundation for Change, and they focus on the families. So they've created a beautiful helping framework for families, and it's evidence-based. And they call their support group Invitation to Change. So it's the same audience as an Al-Anon, but it's just a different way to help families than Al-Anon does. And they bring in, and their Invitation to Change groups bring in ACT, craft, and motivational interviewing. So it's all about, and it's more of a learning group with a supportive environment. So you go there, you learn a skill at each meeting, but you're also in a room, whether virtually or in person, because they have both. with people, with other family members who, know what you're going through too. So it's such a beautiful organization. So I have links to
I,
them and things like that.
I, um, what I would like for you to do. Okay, so um, my mind is turning a million miles. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to end this podcast. This has been a good one, right?
Yeah. Thanks.
And